and welcome to Plus Sports on Plus TV Africa. My name is Mikhail Tinubu, and I have with me today, this morning, Adeyemi Adesoya, sports pundit in Lagos. We're going to be talking a bit about the Super Eagles, the preparations for the friendly match against Portugal. For Portugal, it's a bigger deal than it is for us because they're preparing, trying to get fit, trying to get ready for the World Cup. But for us, it's just an opportunity to play a strong team. Certainly with the manager, Jose Pesero's background, his nationality, this wasn't perhaps too difficult, friendly to pull off. But I want to talk about a defender who's going to be missing the game against Portugal, Bassey. For the Super Eagles is questionable for the team's upcoming international friendly against Portugal. In Ajax Eredivisie match against Emmen on Saturday afternoon, Bassey sustained an injury. 5 minutes before halftime, the former Glasgow Rangers player received medical attention outside the field. The 22-year-old later returned to the field, but Dele Blind, a Dutch international, took his place at halftime. The 21-year-old was included in Nigeria's squad by head coach Jose Pesero on Friday for the friendly. For Pesero, who had to leave out players like Olaino, Zaidu Sanusi, Jamilu Collins, Semi Ajayi and Leon Balogun due to injuries, his absence would be a major setback. The friendly is billed for Thursday, November 17th at the Estadio José Alvalade in Lisbon. How significant a loss is this for Jose Pesero, Yemi?
It's a big loss. If you look across the defenders we have across Europe in the national team today, he's probably one of the best defenders we have. He's been steady, his progression is really good, or has been really good. So it's a huge miss, especially playing a big team like Portugal. When you gave the intro, I almost wanted to check myself to say, oh, preparing for the World Cup, but then you quickly remember that yes, we have absolutely
nothing on our calendar
to do that. But it's a huge miss. It was a good opportunity. It would have been a good opportunity to get the band together and work on a few tactics.
It seems to me that Jose Pesero, I mean, obviously this is a headache that national team managers tend to face from time to time, trying to figure out your top first 11, the best combination of players. But do you think that Jose Pesero has been on the job long enough to figure that out yet?
Maybe not, because for me, I expected a bit of a departure from what already existed. So I feel that certain players in the national team are past their due dates.
True.
And I expected that, with him coming on board, he would be more expressive in terms of spreading out his searchlight for players to play for Nigeria. And but unfortunately, he seemed to have stuck with the norm.
National team managers in England, Spain, they are used to picking under 18-year-olds, under 17-year-olds. If you're good enough, you're going to make it into the national team. Jude Bellingham is already a staple in the national team for England, and he's never let out of the spotlight. We've talked in the past about the Nigerian head coach needing to pick homegrown players. But we've always also put a caveat on that, being that the foreign-based players are so good, playing in such competitive environments. But if our league footballers in Nigeria, in the NPFL, aren't as good as we want them to be, but certainly our under 17-year-olds are performing on the international stage, might it not be time for Jose Pesero to look into those kinds of players, even if he can't pick NPFL players?
Okay, first of all, I do not agree that NPFL players are not good enough or they're not better than some of the so-called foreign-based players that we select. I do say boldly that we do have enough talent home-based in Nigeria that can make it to be part of the Super Eagles. I just think it's a matter of choice, but at the same time, we somewhat display a bit of an inferiority complex, and we seem to only do what is foreign. But then, talking about the under-17s and what have you, I don't think I've seen an under-17 player in Nigeria that is good enough at the moment to make that step up.
What about the ones that are applying their trade in Arsenal's academy, in
If you are in the academy, you have to wait your time. You have to wait your time, make the progression. If you're in an academy, I'm sorry, the Super Eagles is not where we will use you to, as a marketing, it's not what you use as a marketing tool. Jude Bellingham, you gave an example, plays for one of the top clubs in Germany. Yes, he's under 12, I think he's 18 or thereabout.
Yeah.
He's one of the top players in his position. List it any way you want to. So I don't think anybody playing in an academy in Europe should play for the Super Eagles. No.
But when you think about a player like Alejandro Garnacho for Manchester United, before he even made his full debut for Manchester United, he was already being called up to Argentina's national team.
What you need to understand is the way those guys, and I'm talking South Americans, view this thing is completely different from the way we view it. Why do I say so? They bring in these young players and give them an opportunity to train with the big boys, an opportunity to familiarize yourself with the process of being in the national team. You probably won't get to play, but you get an opportunity to, and that's showing you the ropes. And I can give some example. Ronaldo de Lima in 1994 didn't play a game, but he was in the team. A few years ago, Spain under Hierro, they took the likes of Valero, who was defender for Real Madrid, to the World Cup, but they didn't play a game. But it was for them to understudy the big guys.
You make a good point. Ronaldo de Lima himself recently criticized Tite, the national team manager for Brazil, and said that Endrick, the sensational Brazilian 16-year-old who is being chased by top European clubs right now, should have been taken to the World Cup, be included in the team, in the call-up squad, get the experience, even if he isn't going to play. But speaking of the foreign-based preferences that we have and the inferiority complex that we do sometimes exhibit,